Just jump right into it. The first topic we're going to talk about is Deitrick Haddon. And we're just going to have a casual conversation about it, informal conversation. So there's a video circulating with Deitrick Haddon. He's a gospel singer, I know that for sure. But I think he's a pastor also, and you all correct me if I'm wrong.
He is. He pastors the church.
So he's celebrating his 50th birthday, and his wife, they have secular music playing. Now, it's not just good, it's not just, well, it's regular secular music, but it's secular music that has profanity in it. And she's twerking on him. And so, that's, people had a lot to say about it. So we'll just jump right into it, and I'll start with my brother-in-law first. What are your thoughts on it with the video? Did you watch the video?
I did watch the video.
Did you see his wife?
Yes, I saw the wife twerking. The first thing I'm going to say is to whom much is given, much is required. So with the level that God has elevated him to, different people are, of course, is watching him and has eyes on him. So I feel like even though it's your birthday and you want to, as they say, turn up for your birthday, for your 50th, because that is a milestone, you have to consider where God has brought you from, what He's brought you to, and the eyes that is watching you, and the example that you're setting, not just in the Christian community, but just for young black men, and just how to conduct yourself. I also just want to a lot of people have attacked him, but I also kind of want to give him some grace as well. God has, God is a God of love and mercy and grace as well. And being that he has, put himself in this spotlight, him and his wife, I also want to, because we all, have fallen and come short of the glory of God. Right. So with that being said, I also want to give him a pass, this time, just to say, okay, he had his moment. He wanted to, celebrate. He wanted to, unwind. I'm sure, right. With where he's at, a lot comes with that. Right. So, we also always want to weigh in and jump in on these types of things, but we also, after we have our initial response, we also want to take a step back and say, okay, we all are human. If someone followed us 24/7 with the camera, there's going to be some unseemly moments in our lifestyles, things that we wouldn't want everyone to see. Of course, that was a very private moment with him and his wife, which I think should have been done in the privacy of their home. The married bed is undefiled. So I feel like, there's not necessarily anything wrong with what he did. It's just where he did it is kind of how it transpired. Of course, it should have been, if that's something that they do, that's a husband and wife, they're more than welcome to do that in the privacy of their own home. It's just when it's brought, when it's out in public, and you got the secular music, you're a gospel artist. What does that say about, you have, your colleagues that have, upbeat music and different things that could be played in the club that we can dance to and that we can, quote unquote get turned up to. So why wasn't one of those songs, played, in that scenario? There's a lot of different ways that we can go with that, but I wanted to take it a step where I haven't seen a whole lot of people maybe take it to, and just okay, let's just say this is a one-off, give him some grace and not, because we should be, when our brother is overtaken. I'm not saying that he did anything wrong as far as sin-wise, but we should still restore, such a one and be, that person to extend that grace to him.
Okay. Now, my sister and brother-in-law have been married 20 plus years, so I always tend to lean on them for advice, especially my sister when it comes to things of like marriage things. and things of that nature. So Deitrick, Milton has, broken down to us from a man's perspective about Deitrick. I want you to break it down to us from a married woman about his wife. How did you feel about seeing her? And then we'll come back and we'll break it down, together, you as a couple. But
Well, the first thing for me is she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a daughter, she's multiple things. But one of the things I think about is the children. Because even though their children are small, their children are in school, there's so much bullying going on, so many kids are out there on social media and they see things and they're going to see your parents out here, acting a certain way. People are going to talk because everyone's going to have an opinion. I feel like as a parent, they are responsible for protecting their children. And not only did they, to me, leave themselves uncovered, but they also left their children uncovered. So they're opening up their children to some things that can happen to them in school. As a mother, she's supposed to protect her kids. So I feel like that it was a bad decision. It was a bad decision to conduct themselves in public that way, and but I don't believe it was a mistake. I believe it was a decision. They decided to throw a party. They decided to throw the party at a club. They decided to throw the party and have secular music. So these are all decisions that they made, and of course we all know with our decisions we make there are consequences.
Right.
So when they made those decisions, they decided that they were okay with the consequences, and they knew that there would be backlash. And I kind of don't have a whole lot to say about his wife because I feel like I've seen their relationship from the beginning, how it started from the infidelity. He was married when they got together and stuff. Sure enough, him and his other wife were separated. But to me, I'm not sure about the foundation of that marriage and how they got together. But I kind of look at Deitrick as a more mature Christian, the mature believer. And I feel like he is being led by her versus him leading his family.
Right.
And if he is being led by her, it's going to be a problem.
Okay.
So she is, to me, I see her as doing a lot of the leading and not him. And if she's leading, it does not look like it's spiritual at all.
Okay. So you all talk to me about it together as a married couple.
I kind of touched
What
on.
would you, in a setting like that, what would you, let's say you weren't even expecting it. I'm going to throw a question out to you too. And y'all would, and I know my sister wouldn't do this, but we just, and your wife, but a lot of men, a lot of people around, and your wife just started twerking on you. What would you do?
That's a good question because I know she would never do that. I don't know. That's a tough one. I would maybe try and play it off, and maybe to the song, maybe kind of dance her and turn her around and to a more appropriate, dance posture position. Not because I don't want to embarrass her.
Right.
I don't want to put her in a situation where maybe she got out of character for a moment. I'm not sure if there was spirits involved. Spirits meaning alcohol, folks. If anyone didn't know that, but I wouldn't want to bring any attention to her than what has already been brought. So I would try to again kind of in a dancing way kind of turn her around into a more appropriate husband wife Christian dance at that point. So hopefully it would not bring any more attention to the situation than what it's already has. Something like that. That's kind of
check my pupils and see if my eyes dilated. Something has happened if I ever started doing it.
Now, I already said, I prefaced that I know you would never do that. Now, what would be your reaction to his reaction to you in front of the crowd and behind closed doors?
What do you mean?
Would you, how would you, what would you be your reaction to him? He said he would, redirect you, and would you, just go
I
along
would follow whatever his lead is. Well, he's, we had an incident yesterday. Remember, we were in the car driving, and we were driving, and there was a situation, and then I said to him, "Babe, you can't go down that way." It wasn't a yell. It wasn't a "you gonna kill us" or nothing like that. It was just so He listened to me, so I trust him. He trusts me. So if he's trying to protect me, I'm going to trust him. And his job, I understand what his position is, and that he's my husband, and he's the head, and I know that he's not going to do anything that's going to harm me, and he's not going to let me harm myself.
Right.
So if he's trying to redirect me, I'm going to follow his lead. I will never do anything in public that, even if, let's say something happened and maybe he wasn't 100% right, I'm not going to try and scold him. He's a grown man.
Right.
He's a grown man. Now, we may talk about it later in the privacy of our home or whatever, but I'm not going to try and, it happens too much when women try and emasculate men. And women trying to be men. No, he's a man. I'm going to let him lead. And then we'll reason together if we need to later. But out in public, no, I'm not going to do anything to embarrass him.
Okay.
The Holy Spirit is a gentleman. If you led by the Spirit, then, he's not going to act unseemly. He's not going to bring, attention, the attention should be brought to always on Christ. So if it's not uplifting Christ, then it's not right. Again, not necessarily saying, it's a sin and we're going to hell or whatever, but the things that we do, should always, get the attention off of us and on him. And especially someone who has made their career, off of gospel, off of, which is, the gospel is, Christ-centered. Right. So many people are already has a negative eye, and they're already looking for something. It's like they're waiting for something, for you to make up, for you to slip up. Because that's just where it is. They want to find something. Right. See. That's why I don't go to church now. That's why I don't go to church now. See, that's why I don't give him my money, because he ain't out there driving this and doing this, and that's what he's doing with your money. Renting out the club. See what he's doing with your money. See, that's why I keep my money out. It's already out there. So why give them any more ammunition than what is already out there? So conduct yourself accordingly. There's ways that if you really wanted to do a birthday party, you can have a private party. I didn't mention this. You can have a private party
with no cameras. No cameras.
Right.
They do NDAs now. Right. So basically, whatever happens at this party, you have to. I'm gonna invite you to this party. Sign it. You have to sign an NDA. You have to leave your phone at the door. Check your phones, all this kind of stuff. You can do things so therefore if you really wanted to have a let your hair down moment, there's a way that you can do that and kind of protect yourself.
Now, with you saying that, because I know a lot of the secular people, like rappers and stuff, they are doing exactly what you just said.
NDAs.
So that makes me believe he wanted it to be in your face. Right. I don't care, because he did put out a statement, and I was telling you that there's a statement that's floating around now that has some music that's playing to it, and he it's he's saying people are different people make the world go around, something of that nature. But the initial statement he put out was, in my opinion, was almost mocking the church, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and pretty much handing his behind to the church to kids. Now he took that statement down and replaced it with this softer message that he now has out. So like you said, so that's, with you saying that he knew what he was doing. They knew what they were doing.
And if that's the case, then, of course he's going to have to suffer the consequences of that, meaning that, your career is based off of people downloading, consuming your music and everything. So if people start consuming your music, if that is the case, you're mocking the church. Well, the church is your target audience. So the people of the church, if they really followed and really took heed to that, then that can have negative repercussions to you long term, as far as your music and people consuming it and and your income.
And I don't feel like that the church is a targeted audience anymore. I felt like it at one point. But a lot of these artists, like I said before, they're not gospel artists anymore. They're inspiration, they're Christian, But they are in. Deitrick Haddon to me falls into that inspiration now. He is not to me a gospel artist.
Okay.
At one point, maybe he was gospel and a little bit on the edge, but I feel like he's inspiration, and a lot of the artists want to cross over because they know the money is not in people from the church, because we don't buy music like the world does. So I feel like they feel they're getting the sales, they're getting attention outside of the church. So a lot of it is marketing, is trying to keep them relevant so people know who they are. So what does all this do for Deitrick Haddon? Gives him a whole bunch of attention from people who probably never even hardly listened to any of his music, but now they will. Whereas me, I told you all, I'm ready just to remove most of his music from my playlist.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's not gospel anyway. You know, a lot of things I listen that are in my playlist are just inspirational or kind of just junk.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, some of the things that came out on some of his recent records. I just like the beat, the tune of it. But when I listen to the lyrics, it's not gospel music. It's not even Christian music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
You have some tea.
Well, like I said, I believe that you know, they know what they were doing. You guys, I should have turned this TV down a long time ago. I'm just gonna be honest with him, calling himself a pastor and stuff, and you know, herself a first lady. I don't think it was a good look at all. I mean, I'm not saying that they can't dance, but you know, we were talking earlier and we said there's tasteful secular music that you can dance to. You know, a few months ago, people were, and they really weren't in an uproar, but they were just kind of like, ooh, look at Bishop and Sarita Jakes, because they were dancing to a song, but it was a tasteful song. I forgot what song it was, but it was a tasteful secular song, and they were just, you know, just, you know, kind of, he was kind of holding, you know, they was just, you know, a nice couple dancing. To me, that would have been more appropriate.
And that's because we come from a culture, many of us, especially us coming out of Church of God in Christ, we were taught dancing is wrong.
Yeah, we were.
Now, what I've learned since I've matured in Christ and been in various churches, every church has not always taught dancing is wrong. We were taught that, but they were not. So there's been people dancing for years. It's just that certain denominations taught that dancing was wrong.
So that's my take on it. I didn't think it was a good look at all.
No.
For her to be twerking on him, and then for him to be, it just wasn't a good look to me. You know, to me, I mean, it baffles me the way people act like people of the world, and then, you know, believers, you know, that there's not supposed to be a difference in the way we, you know, walk, carry ourselves, and it baffles me the way people think that, and not just, you know, worldly people, church people are, you know, trying to say that too. And I think it should be a difference.
Absolutely.
So,
and if you look at the comments, you'll notice that Deitrick Haddon's church, they are going after people in the comments. So if you say something, and some of the responses are full of profanity. They're like, that's my MF pastor and blah, blah, blah. And they're going, so that just tells you, whenever you see something in a church or in a group, look at the head. So if the people are doing that, then we don't know what all is happening there. Because they are a representation of the head of their ministry. But they are defending him, and they are in the comments, and they are saying some very sharp things.
And you're 50 years old. Like,
Yeah.
at what point do you put away childish things?
Right.
You know, you become a man, you put away childish things. Like, you know, you expect that out of some 20-year-olds.
Right.
But, you know, you 50,
Right.
you know.
I mean, I turned 50